Ladies and gentlemen, this is my channel, Freddie Sanchez. This is FS Sports talking to you guys, coming to you guys with a breakdown of Canelo versus Jaime Munguia that is happening on May the 4th of 2024. These are a small little breakdown, quick little breakdown that I've been thinking of doing, and I'm kind of happy that I'm doing it. And I believe maybe some of these that are betting will change your mind based off this breakdown, and we'll see if we can somewhat agree. How about that? I would love to see you guys what you guys would say. So I will first get into the strengths and weaknesses that I believe in, and then we'll get into my prediction. And we're gonna watch two videos of two fights that have been going on. Excuse that, and we'll give my prediction at the end of the video. How about that? All right, let's get into some strengths and weaknesses. Let's start off with the undisputed champ, Canelo Alvarez. His strengths and weaknesses. This is, it's hard to pick his strength because he's got a lot of things, but there's also a lot of weaknesses he has in this game. So, the first strength he has is experience. I believe his experience is one of the best in boxing, maybe the best in boxing right now. No one has a resume he has. He's fought 4 to 5 Hall of Famers, fought every style. He's beaten a bunch of guys. It's just where experience could you get that from? You can't get it anywhere. You have to fight these guys. And one of his strengths is he's fought so many different styles. For example, he's fought pure boxers. Floyd Mayweather, Andy Lara. He's fought Austin Trout. He's fought all these guys. He's fought quick fighters who are quick, boom, 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 combinations, get out. Amir Khan, he's fought, that's the biggest one he's got, knocked him out. But it did give him a lot of trouble. He has experience on the Soviet boxing style, which is a combination in and out boxing, offensive boxing approach, and that is against Bivol and Kovalev a little bit. Bivol is obviously a better candidate at that style, which is ultimately defeated him. But that is a different thing. Bivol is bigger, much faster than a lot of these guys, but he's also fought brawlers. One of them has been Kirkland. James Kirkland's probably the best one. Who's somebody who's hurt him. You could argue he hurt him with a right hand or an uppercut. I can't remember. I have to really watch the video, but I believe it was right hand. Another strength is his power. His power is much like Ryan Garcia's power, much like Spence's power. Very body built. He doesn't have that natural gifted power as a Deontay Wilder, as a Inoue, as a who's another good example at the 100, as a better Beeve. He's a much more torque. He uses his shoulders a lot to create power. He's very good at creating power. Ryan Garcia is the best example. People think that left hook is just boom, let me just throw it. Boom, let me slap you. No. That left hook is one of the best in boxing, and the reason is it's so much torque. He throws it and just turns his whole shoulders. If you look at the Haney fight, Haney threw that right hand, the one that clipped him in the second round. Right hand, and Ryan threw that left hook over, and you can see his whole body's turned. He's basically facing the other way. That's the power Canelo has. And the precision. Chin. One of the best in boxing. Never been rocked once, I believe, or twice. Once against Triple G and one against Cotto's brother, Jose Cotto, I believe is his name. Footwork. He doesn't have the footwork of a Floyd Mayweather who was going to pivot around you. He's going to change the angle like a Lomachenko. He has the footwork to cut off the ring and get in and out where he needs to be, just in time. He doesn't have enough to overwhelm you, but he has enough to not fool you, but take your mind off things. And that's the footwork that he has that I believe will lead him to a good, great fight. This is the biggest one in my opinion, his strength. This is defensive counterpunching. We'll get into Jaime Munguia's offense and his weaknesses, but this is, I believe, the best opportunity for Canelo is his defense and his counterpunching. It's hard to counterpunch so powerfully like Canelo. He's faced so many styles. Caleb Plant, he knocked out Caleb Plant going forward, right? What's a good one of a backwards counterpunch that I believe I would witness it? I would say it was Crawford and Spence, where Crawford really extended that body jab, and Crawford, credit to his coach Bomac, who said, "Get on top of that jab when you can." Boom, jab, left hand, dropped him, or it was jab, right hand because he switches stances. That's the type of counterpunch Canelo needs against Munguia. And I believe he can do that because he has the skill, the power, the precision, the experience to do that, the footwork to experience that. And I do believe this is the biggest asset to him. And hopefully it is, Hopefully it is because that's big for him. The weakness, years of experience. I know it kind of contradicts each other with the experience and the strengths, but he's been in brawls. He's been working his butt off, and a lot like many of these fighters, they tend to wear out. You're gonna wear out eventually, and Canelo's starting to hit that where he's been boxing for 15 years. 17 years actually. He's 32, 33, started at 15, but he started boxing at like 13 or something like that. Eventually it's going to catch up to him. Whether it's now, whether it's 2 years from now, 3 years from now, tomorrow, this fight, next fight, it's going to catch up to him unless he retires. When he retires at the right time. It's bound to happen where he gets cracked. And if he doesn't, well, good for him. God bless him with a good chin for the rest of his life. Size. He's very small for that weight class. As we saw, Charlo, who's a 154 pounder, if I'm not mistaken, was bigger than Canelo. And not in terms of maybe mass, but he was taller, rangier, filled up a little more. That's where Canelo really has weakness against every fighter, is how short he is. But it does benefit him at times, which I'll get into a little bit later. And this one kills him the most, is the lack of combinations. He's been going away from the combinations overwhelming you to more, I'm going to pick my poison. I'm going to land my right hand, boom. Right hand in your body, boom. Left hook, boom. Uppercut, boom. And that's it. And I'm going to walk you down again more. Boom, 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 boom. I think of it more of like a snake. Boom. It stings you, right? And then it waits for the venom to kick in. That's more of his body work and more of his thudding shots. He hits you, relaxes, boom. Stalks you again, stalks you. Boom. Stalks you. And that's something that I believe might cost him future fights, is the fact that he can't overwhelm anybody. He's not going to overwhelm me with his power, yes, but combinations, no. No one's going to sit there and just be like, oh my God, he's throwing eight punch combinations on me. No, that's never going to happen again, in my opinion, with Canelo, unless he fights somebody who he must do that with. And then let's look at the keys to victory. This one, counterpunching. I do believe this is going to be more of a power counterpunching fight, where he's really gonna sit down on his shots. He's gonna pick, he's gonna wait, use Munguia's offensive pressure to eventually lead to some damaging blows. Footwork. Canelo needs to get in and out. He needs to stay off the ring, off the ropes, off the ropes. You cannot risk getting caught by Munguia on the ropes. His offense is too precise, too overwhelming for you to be on the ropes. And no fighter has done well with Munguia on the ropes. Derevchenko a little bit, but we'll see why a little bit later. You have to stay in the middle of the ring. And I should mention the high guard. This is why I believe Canelo has a very high guard. High. Boom, hands are up, but he's active. He uses a lot to parry, to block, uses his chin. You can't do that on the ropes. As much as he did it with Bivol, that's why Bivol beat him, overwhelmed him. If you let I think Munguia hits harder than Bivol, first of all. If you let Munguia sit down on his combinations, you're going to get stopped. Canelo will lose by knockout if he lets Munguia sit down on his shots. And part of that is his high guard's not going to work as much as you would want to. Munguia throws too hard for your high guard to work through for 12 rounds. But experience. You're going to win this fight based off your experience. If in my opinion, for Canelo, he's fought all these guys. He knows he can't stay in the middle. He can't stand on the ropes. He knows to move in the middle of the ring. He knows how to counterpunch. Intelligence is another one. He knows when to pick his shots. He knows who he's facing, their weaknesses. He knows how to feel them out. He has a great camp behind him in the bodywork. This is what I think, alongside with counterpunching, is gonna get him a stoppage if he does do it to a precise. You need to slow Munguia down. Munguia's gonna go for 12 rounds. He's younger than you. You're older than him. You've been in more wars than him. You need to slow down the youngster. If you slow down the youngster, if he happens to slow down Munguia by the 6th, 7th round, Munguia's going out before 10 rounds. But part of that's the body work. You really need to not throw so much thudding shots, but more shots in between the combinations. Boom, boom, boom. left hook, boom, 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 right. You throw these so when Munguia does get going or does start throwing a lot of punches, that them body shots are gonna go to work and they're gonna hurt. And I believe over time, Munguia's gonna feel it, feel the amounts of how much it's gonna hurt to breathe, and that's when I feel like Canelo will take over the fight if he affects that. But now let's get to Jaime Munguia. His strengths and weaknesses are all over the place. But let's get into it. Youth. He is way younger than Canelo. Way younger by about more than 5 years. And he's been in two, three wars. One war. Derevyanchenko, Ryder, he kind of just steamrolled him a little bit, got hurt, but not too much. And his experience, 43 fights. It's a good amount of fights, but come on. He's steamrolled a lot of his fighters. The combinations. This is where Munguia will win the fight if he sticks to these combinations. We'll get into more of how this could also kill him in the fight. Combinations. You need to keep Canelo at bay. You cannot let him get forward. You cannot let him move. Like Bivol. Bivol kept him on the ropes. Boom, boom, boom. Backed. Canelo sets traps. He's too smart for you to just think that he's going to high guard and let you get off on him. He knows there's going to be an opening and he's going to take advantage. If you're Munguia, keep those hands up. Throw 1, 2, 3, 4. Back out. Go back 3, 5, 6. Back out. Uppercut, left hook, right hand straight down the middle, and then double jab. You want to keep Canelo at bay with your combinations. You don't want to necessarily overwhelm him because he will counter you. But you do want to stay at bay, and you want him to not think about counterpunching. Just more, damn, I don't have enough time to counterpunch. His size, he needs to bully him. He needs to stop. He needs to put the pressure on Canelo. He can't have Canelo backing him down. If you have Canelo backing you down, you're going to lose the fight. I don't care who you are. Canelo's too good offensively to be losing a fight if he's going forward. The only time he's ever done that was Mayweather, but Mayweather stood and pieced him up a couple times. His coach, Freddie Roach, one of the best trainers of all time. Don't gotta say too much. He's gonna have him ready for the fight. Power. You have the power to drop Canelo. I do believe Munguia does, and he has the precision. But you can't get so overwhelmed and happy with your power. You have to necessarily more or less use it at times where you feel safe, not where you have to like, oh my god, if I use all my power on this one, he's gonna see me wind up, I'm gonna get dropped or something. No, you have to kind of sit back and realize what's the best way to use my power, or when is the time to just throw combinations so you can stay at bay. There's times where you have to throw combinations not to knock him out, but just to keep him there. Like a jab, like a boxer's jab, like a Devin Haney, like a Mayweather, like a Pernell Whitaker, like all these stereotypical boxers, their jab is what keeps boxers at bay. For these brawlers, it's combinations. Like Isaac Pitbull Cruz, his combinations keep you at bay. His weaknesses, I know this one is kind of like, oh, but he's young. What do you mean his weakness is experience? He doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have a Canelo type of guy to fight. That's simple as that. He doesn't have anybody on his level. His love for brawling. In this one, and I believe these three go together. Defense, love. This one. It's got to be more of distance, defense, and love for brawling. The reason I say this, his defense is very suspect. It's nowhere near as good as a top fighter. His distance management is brutal. It's terrible. Terrible. He knows how to pick his shots, but he gets a crazy amount of range. He gets too close. He's a long fighter. Why are you going anywhere near a shorter guy? His love for brawling. He loves to just put them hands up, swing them, even though he does drop his hands. These three, I believe, can kill him in a fight. This one might not. And if they go to decision, this might. But in terms of like a stoppage or getting hurt, it's these three, which I think is a big thing. But keys to his victory, you have to throw long combinations. Throw your combinations, get out, get back in. Simple as that. You have to go with that recipe. And if you can last for 12 rounds of long combinations, I'm not talking about 1, 2, 3s. I'm talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Uppercuts, overhands, left. Just something that keeps Canelo thinking. You can't have Canelo get comfortable with any of your combinations. youth. You have to overwhelm him. You have to outwork him. You have to use the cardio. You have to use your youth. You have to use your freshness in your body. Canelo's wearing down. You have to use that against him. The distance. You need to keep your distance from him. Canelo throws very. Canelo's punches are more where I said, but Munguia's are thrown at range. Munguia has his power from a range. The end of his punches hurt. Canelo's middle of his punches hurt. Canelo, when he throws, it's the middle of the punches that hurt, not when he's fully extended. When he's in the middle. So if you're Munguia, stay on the outside. You'll have a really good fight. And then this one, like I mentioned earlier, mixing up the combinations. 1, 2, 3s, back out. 1, 2s, back out. Jab, double jab. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. Simple as that. That will win you the fight. If Munguia can keep these two, I could see him hurting Canelo and potentially ending the fight. But enough of that. Let's get into some highlights of Munguia, where I do believe there's a lot of flaws in his offense, which can end up hurting him. So let's go right based off here. So he's attacking Derevyanchenko right away. Okay, let me get a little closer. Move this over here. Right there, eating 1-2s. Oh, you're on the back foot. The smaller guy's backing you down. In what world do you let a smaller guy back you down? And then look at this distance. Of course. And he's just running backwards, hands up. But look at that high guard. Look how many punches are getting in on him. Right there. Boom, right hand. That high guard isn't going to help you. Those little punches in the middle. Look at that. He's quick. Combinations. But if I'm not, I think he did hurt him there a bit. But look. Boom. Look at these hands. They're getting away from his body in an overhand right. You think Canelo is not going to see that? And I believe we can get into a little bit of his jab. His jab. Okay, perfect. Right here. We saw this, right, guys? So, right about right there. Come on. There's an overhand right that can come right here. Derevyanchenko or Canelo could slip this overhand right with all his feet planted, his hips just turn, shoulders turn. That's landing flush. A left hook could land. A check. And I believe he does end up landing one soon. Let me just be patient. There's overwhelming. His hands are down, which is, yes, his combinations are good, but if your hands are down, you're suspect to get hit. Now, I believe he tags him somewhere along this round. Look at that range. Why are you standing in there? You're on the ropes, yes, but you gotta move. I believe I skipped it, but we're gonna just roll with it. High guard, but look how close he is. And you're jabbing. You're jabbing that close. When do you jab? When your opponent's right in front of you. Why would you jab? You're leaving your whole body suspect to an overhand right. And then, boom, those combos are just wearing on that high guard. Look, all these punches got through. Right there, look, all those punches. So here we go, back. This is a little better from Derevyanchenko, landing some more shots. I think if we can go towards the middle. This is where I believe Munguia gets caught. If I'm not right there, there it is. Right there. That's what it was. That's exactly what it was. Let's slow this down. If we can see, left hand, right hand, jab, hands are down, uppercut. That's a great uppercut by Munguia. His creativity is crazy, but that high guard, once again, all these punches are gonna get in on him, and I believe this is where he lands the big one. Derevyanchenko closing in. There's that left hook to the body beautifully, but then boom. Come on, look at this. Munguia's just overextending everything. And Derevyanchenko's quick. Super short. Let me see if I can show you guys again. Look, Derevyanchenko. Look. He's already beat. Boom. There it is. I'll tell you guys this. Canelo lands that punch. This fight's ending right away. And then this is where the onslaught begins. No hold, no guard, no defense. Hands are down. Just getting walloped. walloped. And his offense gets better towards the end right here. And this is where I want to make a big point about his offense. This is what I think I can see him hurting Canelo with shots to the body. And I believe he hurts him right here. I believe, boom, wearing that body. Hands are a little high. They're wearing the body. That's what I think can have, especially with that active high guard, and he wants to parry a lot of those shots. He doesn't want to get hit. When you land a body shot, I believe he landed somewhere right here. Right here. Boom. Hands are down. Canelo never puts his hands down. But he does tend to block. And that's when a punch can come right on the jaw. And that's what I'm talking about. His creativity is off the charts, but he needs long combinations. He needs to get in and out. This range isn't going to help him. It's not going to help him. Canelo's too smart to be in that, to think this range is going to help him. And part of that is because his experience is too high. And there we saw the knockdown where he eventually ends up winning the fight. And I believe that was good for his career, but also bad because a lot of his flaws were exposed. Now, Canelo versus Kovalev is probably the best opportunity I can see right here. Right there. Jab, and he catching. So we saw that jab from Munguia. Let me see if I can show you guys a little earlier. I believe it was right here. He ends up tagging him. Throws a jab with his hands really low, which is never a good thing. Right there. So, okay, beautiful. Oh, there we go. Right here, watch. Right here. No. Right there. No, I believe it's right here. Right there. Okay. So he threw that jab and he had a cocked right hand, ready to come over the top. Threw a jab and look what Canelo was doing to Kovalev. I mean, I don't know what you're waiting for. Like, Canelo's going to see that and boom. Though that did skin him, it definitely did some damage. And towards the end of the fight, Canelo was wearing. This is where I think, look, this is where I want to see. That body, that active high guard, but in the middle of the ring. Stalking, moving, cutting off the ring perfectly, landing those stunning body shots, and ultimately leading to this. A feint, boom, right to the temple, to the jaw, right hand, and in the fight. It was a little bit of close for Canelo, but you see all his fights. He's the same guy who's gonna walk you down eventually. He's gonna land them punches. Now for my prediction, who do I think is gonna win this fight? I'm gonna say this: I wouldn't be surprised if Munguia drops Canelo in this fight. What's my prediction and what I put my money on? I would say Canelo winning by knockout in the round 8th through to 10th round. I believe eventually Munguia's flaws are going to come back because yes, in 2 fights you're not going to be a much better fighter. Yes, you will look more technically sound, but what happens when it gets rough? You're going to go back to them tactics. Same thing with Pacquiao and Marquez. Pacquiao was much more technical, but when the fire got hot, Marquez was the more fundamental fighter. Where that right hand just down the middle, ended up knocking out Pacquiao. Whereas I believe I could see Munguia also getting hurt, Munguia getting damage done on it. Ultimately, we'll have to wait till May 4th. But I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Like I said, Munguia has the opportunity to become undisputed, passing of the torch. But I do believe Canelo gets him out in 8 to 10 rounds. And I believe we'll see Benavidez in the ring. And I believe that'll be really interesting. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Friday Sessions from F Sports. See you guys next time. Stay safe. God bless.